Okay, boys and girls, this is our lesson 10.1. So let's go over some of these problems. Okay, so first of all, when we're trying to figure out the base and the height of the triangle, the base and the height must meet at a right angle, so they have to be perpendicular to each other. So when we look at the first one, for number 1 here, I see that there's a right angle right at A there. So the triangle ABC, I see that the right angle is right at A, so I could make either AB my base or AC the base. But if you make AB the base, then AC has to be the height. Now, like what I told you in class, if you're having trouble seeing it, what you could do is manipulate it by turning your paper. So the correct answer, well, one of the answers, because there could be multiple, is AB, line segment AB is your base, and then line segment AC is your height. Oops. Okay. So let's just go on to a couple others. If I look at number 3, it says for each triangle label a base with the letter B and a height for H. So if I look at this, I don't see a 90 degrees. So you could do this many ways, but I'm going to make BC right here. This is going to be my base. So that's going to be my base is BC. So the height then, I would just go right down the middle like we talked about in class. So I'm going to make, it's kind of hard to, let me make this a little bigger. And let me erase that. It was a little difficult to draw here. So let me just redo it. Oh. Okay, so BC is going to be my base, and then the easiest way is to go right down the middle, right from, well, not down the middle, but right from A straight down, and I'm trying to make a dotted line. It's a little tricky to make a dotted line on here. Let's try this again. And this is like an invisible line, but this is going to be at a right angle. That's going to be your height then. So right here is going to be your height. Now you need to label this point down here, so I'm going to write AD. Line segment AD is going to be my height. Okay, so it's a little hard to draw in here, so you need to make sure that you make that dotted line. 5 is very similar to that. Now 6, there's 2 ways to do this. 6, you could twist it around and make PQ your base, or we have PR is the base right there, and then what you would need to do is extend your base and make a right angle right there, and then over here, if I put a letter D here, QD is going to be my height over there. Okay, so next page, find the area of each triangle. So we need to do 1/2 base times the height, and that's going to give you your area. So if I look at number 7, I'm going to write it on the side over here. Let me just move it. So number 7, it's 1/2 base is 14 times 8. So what I'm going to do, like I told you in class, if you have, it's easiest if you have a even number. So if I take a half, I can take half of one of the numbers. You can't do both. You're only going to do one. So I'm going to take half of 14. So it's going to be 1/2 times 14. So it's 7 times 8. So the answer is going to be 56, and it's going to be inches squared. Make sure you do inches squared. Okay, so down here, 9, 10, 11, 12 are very similar. One is to find the height, and the other one is going to find the base. So it's basically the same method of what we do. So I'm going to do, let's do number 9 together. So number 9, let me get my marker. I see that it tells me that my triangle, the area is 96, equals 1/2. I have the base is 16, and the height is what I don't know. So that's going to be my algebraic equation. Now, if it's the bottom ones down here, 11 and 12, you're trying to figure out the base. So you'll be given the height, not the base. So let me just rewrite this. So it's going to be 96 equals 1/2 16 times h. So I like to write it as 96 times 1/2 times 16h, or 96 equals 16h divided by 2. Because when you take a half of something, you divide it by 2. Let me just move it up. So now, when I can simplify there, so it'll be 96 equals 8h. And then all we need to do now is divide by 8, and then h is going to equal, oops, let me write that better. 96 divided by 8 is going to be 12, and that's going to be the height. Now the height is going to be 12 centimeters. So it's going to be 12 centimeters. Make sure you label centimeters. Now it's not centimeters squared because it's not, the reason why it's not centimeters squared is because it is not the area. Okay. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so let's look at, real quick, I'm going to give you some tips on a couple. I'm not going to give you all the answers. Triangle PQR, PQ and R right there is a ball field, and you have to find the triangle there of PQR. You have to find the area. So we have PQ and R. So the base is going to be 26, because here's, let me just erase this. This is, why does it do that? Okay, so you can see that we have a right angle here. So this is going to be the base. The 26 is the base, so 12 has to be the height. So you could solve that. All right, next one we talked about a little bit in class, number 14. You need to remember that AE here is going to equal EB. The height of this triangle, the gray triangle AEC, is BC. So this height is BC. But this triangle right here, ECB, the height is also BC. So if you think about it, they're actually equal. So the question is that this area is going to be 28, it says. So this area has to be 28. And just know that this big triangle is half of the rectangle. So what you need to find is the unshaded region. So you don't need this region. You want these two then. All right, number 15, if you look at this, we have to, the rectangle EFGH, that's a big rectangle, is divided into 6 identical rectangles. Find the area of the shaded region. So we have to find the triangle there. So look, 96 is broken up into 3 parts. So you have to divide 96 by 3, and you're going to get 32. So each section is 32. And if this is the base, this is the height, and each section's 8 here, but you don't even need that. You already have the base and the height, so you should be fine. All right, 16. 16, what you need to know, it's an isosceles triangle. It's X and Y is an isosceles triangle. That means that this side is equal to this side right here. So WX is equal to WY. And if WY is 13, WX has to be 13. So that's very important because that's going to give me my base. So that's going to, it's going to give me my base of the triangle. So look at it very carefully. That gives you your base, and then you can see over here you're going to get the height. All right. And they give you the height over there. Number 17 is a little bit tricky, but let's look at it. Figure EFGH is a rectangle. So the big thing, the big area is a rectangle. Point M is in the midpoint. So that means FM here equals MG. Now, EF equals FM. So that means these two are equal. That means these two are equal. Well, this side has to be equal to that side. Let me just move it over. So this has to be 9. So these two together equal 18. So this side has to be 18. If this is 12, then that has to be 6. And that should help you then solve the question of what is the area of EN, and M.